of this video is to show you how to assemble my 3D Yardbirds. Design these birds with the hope of being able to help Claire in her position as an occupational therapist for kids to help teach those kids to improve their cognitive and hand dexterity skills. At least that's the hope. The challenge to myself in this project was to be able to come up with a design that does not use any glue or tape or any adhesive, just paper, and to connect the pieces perpendicularly or parallel to each other, while also latching the pieces together so they don't come apart. This is the 40-ish design. As it turns out, it's very hard to get to simple. My concern is that it may still be a little too difficult, and so I'm going to send Claire a number of pieces so you can test out and give me feedback. So there are 7 pieces and about 6 steps to make this happen. We start out with the guts, which is the piece that holds the bird together and fits onto a bamboo stick, a skewer that allows it to rotate freely. Then that attaches these little bracket-like things, go through this piece here and attaches the 2 bird sides together so that they can then rotate on the stick. Then we have the tail, and notice the red line here. The red lines all through here are scores in the paper so that when you bend them, they fold in the right place. And that will go onto this slot here. So this slot here, once folded, will go onto this slot here and here. These tabs overlap each other, and so when you push them through the hole, they're going to come up like this, and then once they get to the center hole, they drop back down, and that will lock it into place. That applies here and also here. Okay. Then after that, there's the wings. They have, on one side you're going to fold them down, on the other side you're going to fold them up, and they will fit through the upper slot of the bird body. And then there's a last piece that can pin the wings down or pin them up. If you don't use this piece, the birds can spin freely in any direction and even start spinning around. If you pin them down, they will face away from the wind, and if you pin them up, they will face towards the wind. And that comes into play and looks pretty cool when you have like 5 or 10 of these things in the yard, and you can have them facing each other, facing away from each other, or all facing the same direction with the slightest breeze movement. That's kind of cool. All right, so let's expand the video and start building these puppies. All right, so we start out with the guts. So here's the guts. Notice there are score lines on it. Notice these brackets. When we bend them, we're going to bend this piece back, not the bracket part, and then forward, so that it's kind of like bending in as an accordion. Pull that down. Then do the same to the other side. I'm going to bend it down and back, so like an accordion, so that we have pieces like this, and then we will hold these 2 pieces together. So now it looks like this. And then we're going to fold this down, and this slot here will go into this slot here. So we'll fold it again and feed it into the slot. And that will lock it into place. We'll do the same to the bottom. Fold it down into this slot here. And there we go. So now it looks like this. Notice there's a hole, and this hole has to be facing downward for where the stick will go in. So here's the bamboo stick, and it'll go like that, and it will rotate freely with the wind. So next step, we go to one of the bird sides, like this. And we're going to hold this piece towards the front of the bird, so like that. And this little tab will fit through the center hole here. So we fit through there. Now the goal here is, like I was saying about those overlapping pieces, is we're going to pull this through until those overlapping pieces fall into those holes and it locks into place. So we're going to pinch it up and down, and now you have that. And that locks this bird body to the guts. Do the same thing to the other side. So we take that, face it forward, goes through that center slot, and then we're going to pinch it. I'm better with my right hand, so I'm going to pinch it till it snaps in. You can hear it snap, and we have that. And I just realized I did it backwards because the hole's on the top and it needs to be on the bottom, so we pull it back out and do that again. So, good to know. So turn it back right, hole in the bottom, fit it through the slot, pinch it until it snaps. And you can hear it. Do the same to the other side. Fit it through there. Pinch it. You can hear that. So we end up with this, with the hole on the bottom. And then we're going to work on the tail. So again, there's a score mark here, and that's where it bends. So we'll bend that, fold that down. So it's like this. And we're going to slide it through this here, which means we have to pinch the bodies together, line them up so you can see through the slots, like that. We're going to take this, and you see the upper slot and this slot, and so it's going to go like this, and they're going to feed through. You're going to hold these together and get it so that it goes all the way in, like that. And then we're going to pull this tab out to this hole, and those tabs on the inside are going to lock back in and hold the tail in place. So we have this little tab, if you can see that, and we're going to fit that through the hole. So this is the most difficult part of this model, of this design. And so one side goes in, you have to make sure the other side goes into the same hole, and then it looks like that. So now it's locked into place. Now we're going to go to the front of the bird, and we're going to pinch those two pieces together. So line up the eyes, so it looks like that, and we're going to push this flat piece through to the other side. And we're going to do that to the left side, and we're going to do it to the right side. So they overlap like that, and that locks these two pieces together. So we have the tail on and the body of the bird together. So now we're ready for the wings. So we're going to take a wing, and we're going to fold these tabs down for the first one. We're going to hold it like that. You see that this is down, and we're holding both of those pieces. And we're going to feed it through the top slot all the way until, including the folded pieces down and feed it in all the way till it comes to a stop. So it's going through both pieces. And as you pull the two sides of the bird body apart, those tabs that were folded down spring out and lock it into place so the wings don't come out. Now we do the other wing, and we're going to fold those tabs up, so the opposite direction. And we're going to hold it like that. And we're going to feed it the other direction on top of the other wing that you just did. You're going to feed it through the same slot, the folded pieces. So again, we're doing the folded pieces here. You're pushing all the way till it stops. You're going to spread, and you see that it springs out. Springs out and locks it into place. So then you can push one forward, one back, and it looks like that. So now the wings are locked into place. But to add stability to the wings, there's another step we have to take. And that's going to be weaving this piece into these two holes. So weave that first one in, and then weave it back. Do the other wing, weave it in, and weave it back. And now it's technically good to go. If you don't do anything, if you don't pin the wings forward or back, it will spin freely in any direction and even spin around. So if you want it to face the wind or face away from the wind, you take this piece and you see the two slots on the wings, and you're going to feed it through this slot here, and you're going to overlap, feed them into the slot like this, so that it looks like this. This is the slot. And then we're going to do the other side. This is going to cause the wings to bend down and fit it through that slot. And so now the wings are pinned down, and that will face away from the wind when the wind blows, when there's a slight breeze. Or, if you want it to face the wind, take this back out. And rather than feeding it to the slot, you're just going to do it over top. So, fits on one side, pull it over to the other side, feed that in, and it looks like this. And that holds the wings up. And that will always face forward. Again, really cool when you have a bunch of these out in the yard and you have them all facing the same direction or facing each other. And that's the whole assembly part. So, that's it.